on our team in Philippines, we have them use Hubstaff, which is like a time tracker. And we've told our team it's not to see how efficient you are. It's only for us to know that we have enough team members. If you notice like someone 70-80% consistently being like really efficient, then you need to have a conversation. Hey, I think you're being overworked. Let's just either make sure you're not doing the things that are you're not necessary to do, or if you're doing things only that are necessary, let's find someone else who may be at 30-40% efficiency to take some of the things off your plate.
This is your daily real estate syndication show. I'm your host, Whitney Sewell. We are back again today with our guest, Sharad Mehta. Again, he's the founder and CEO of Resimpli, which we talked about yesterday. But today we're going to dive into scaling a business and using virtual assistants and some key tips in hiring and how he has done this really well. He's got a number of employees in like 3 or 4 different countries. And so if you can imagine the building the culture, right? In a US based company is hard enough, much, and maintaining it in a healthy way, much less when you have employees all over the world. It is quite difficult, but very important. And you're going to hear how he's done just that today. Sharad, welcome back to the show. Welcome. I'm honored to be able to spend a little more time with you and pull out some expertise that I know the team or our team and the listeners are going to learn so much from. You have been successful at building a business and scaling, and that doesn't come, without some learning to make some things efficient, right? And learning how to hire people and find people's skill sets and do all these things. I want to dive into some of that with you today. And get some tips on how you've scaled and even the technology. I get questions about technology often that helps us to be efficient. And I know you have done that very well. And so welcome to the show.
Thank you, man. Thank you, Whitney, for having me back.
Yeah, honored to continue the conversation. Well, let's jump in there. Speak to, maybe the, how you've scaled. Give us some timelines or maybe how you've scaled the business. And we'll jump into some of the specifics on how you've been successful at doing that.
Yeah, so I started the company in 2000, end of 17. I started the company, hired a couple of developers overseas just to create a product for myself. And after about year and a half, I realized that I wasn't very clear with my expectations with the team members that I had on what I needed. So the first year and a half was a complete waste on, things that we were trying to do. I don't want to say complete waste, but it was a good education that I got on, how I need to manage the team members. So then I hired, then I hired a new team and I was very clear about exactly what I wanted from the end result. And I was more involved. We had a shorter feedback loop rather than giving something to my team and saying, hey, go create this, come back 6 months later and show me what you have. It was like weekly check-ins. Hey, let's just see what you have done. Let's just make sure we're like staying on the right path on what needs to be developed. So that was the important thing. And the most important thing in scaling business for us have been having the right people in the right seat and really knowing what my strengths are and what my weaknesses are. And I personally, I have the mindset that I would rather double down on my strength because I'm going to have I can leverage that better versus working on my weaknesses. So I would rather hire someone on my team who can complement me with their skills and help me on the weaker side, and I can go double down on the strength side of it. Another thing is realizing once you've found someone who's really good at what they do, give them the full freedom to do whatever they want to do. Like have the KPIs to check in with them just to make sure everything is going correctly, but don't micromanage. If you have someone who's really good at marketing, give them the freedom to be creative with it, right? As long as they're not going to make a decision that's going to completely bankrupt you or like take your company down, it's okay to test out a few things. Most of them are going to fail, but some are going to work. The ones that are going to work are going to more than make up for the ones that failed, the things that you tried. Same thing on the development side, same thing on the customer support side. If you know people on your customer support. Like ask them for ideas rather than saying, hey, I want you to do this. Ask them, okay, what would you, if you were a customer of ours, what would need to happen from us for it to make it like an absolute five-star experience for them? It doesn't have to be anything big, right? It can be like small little things, like even the how we're communicating with our customers, right? It could be the language that we're using, like showing empathy, like small little things are super, super important. And then have weekly check-ins with the team members, like have weekly KPIs just to be able to track the data, right? Going back, like an example of if you're looking to lose weight, like the things that you control are going to gym and your diet, and then you just track if the weight is going in the right direction. If not, then the effort that you're putting in, maybe you're not going to gym enough. Maybe you're going to the gym every day, but you're not doing anything. Or you're going to the gym every day, you're working out, but then you come home and eat McDonald's. So then you start tweaking those levers that you have with the hope that the end result that you have, the weight going down, will go in the right direction. So with our team, it's very important that we track the KPIs. We hold our team accountable on things that are in our control. It's in our control to absolutely give the best service we can, but the customer may still end up giving us a 1 star, rating on it just because there was something else going on. We did everything we possibly could. So those are the things we want to like keep track of, like having the right people in the right seat and then giving them the freedom to just run with it and not micromanage.
Yeah, I love that that push there because that can be hard, especially for new business owners, right? Or something that you have spent, say, so much time and money, investing and making this business operate, and then it's hard to just turn somebody else loose on a big part of it, right? And I know personally, as I've found people who are say better at specific skills, right? Hopefully, right? That's the expectation anyway. In certain parts of the business, I want them to go run with it because they're better at it than I am.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, that's the thing. Like you always want to hire. I mean, it's tough in the beginning, right? When you start a company and when you're scaling it, it's very hard to let go of certain things that you've been doing because you feel like maybe it's your ego saying to you, hey, you're the best at this. How can somebody else come into your company and do a better job at it than you were doing? But you have to realize, you have to be honest to yourself, is it the best use of my time? Right? Let's say if I'm absolutely amazing at customer support, right? But if I can hire someone overseas for like $5 to $10 an hour, is it the best use of my time, even though I absolutely am best at it? Like you can pass those skills on, you can tell your team what they need to do, and then just manage through numbers. But then you have to look at, okay, what is the biggest value add to the business that you do? Like, where do you spend your time that gets the business the highest ROI? Those are the things it's tough in the beginning, but you have to realize, hey, I'm not good at it, or is it the best use of my time? Like those are the things you have to ask. And once you find someone and they start doing things like, as good as you're doing, or in a lot of cases better than, it's such a amazing feeling to have, knowing that you don't have to get involved in everything. You just check in with them once a week, have your meeting, make sure everything is moving in the right direction, make some tweaks, give them some ideas, get the ideas from them, and just say, all right, let's try it for another week and see how it performs.
Speak to the size of your team and maybe where they're located.
Yeah, so we have team members in Philippines, Bangladesh, and India, and US. I met with the team in India. I went to India a couple of years ago. That's where I'm from. So I met with the team, but I've never met with my team in Philippines, never met with my team in Bangladesh, never met with my team in US. So I'm actually going to Philippines, Bangladesh, and India in about 6 weeks, just meet my team in Philippines, Bangladesh, and India. So I'm looking forward to it. But we built this amazing culture of team members, all based virtual, but still working together to create something bigger than every individual.
What about your, say, hiring process for individuals that are all remote like that? Speak to that. I get questions. I mean, I've done it a lot myself. Used virtual assistants or people from other countries for lots of things, and usually specialized skills. Right, you find them because they have a skill set that I need on the team. But a lot of people are so hesitant to hire somebody that they can't physically see, right? So how have you navigated that?
Yeah, it's definitely tough. I think one thing we've realized is, I mean, if you need someone for a very highly skilled job, let's say a video editor, then you want to make sure they have the right skill for it. And if you need someone for one-off, then you want to make sure you hire the most skilled person that you can get. But I'll give you an example of, let's say if we're looking to hire someone in our customer support department, for example, right? For me, or any administrative work for that matter, the most important thing for us would be to make sure we hire someone for the character, the work ethics, then the skill. If they've never worked in an administrative job, or if they've never worked in a CS position, that's okay. That's a skill that we can teach someone, develop, right? But if someone doesn't have good work ethics, if someone doesn't have the right character, there's no training I can have them take. If someone doesn't like showing up on time, they clock out before let's say if they're working 9 to 5, they come in at 10, they clock out at 4. Like it just they don't have the motivation. There's no training that I can send them to, or they're stealing money from the company, right? I mean, in a way, if they're not showing up on time and leaving early, they're kind of stealing money from the company. There's no training I can send them and say, hey, can you please go take this training and learn to be more honest, right? I mean, there's no training like that.
Right.
But if I have someone who's super motivated, they want to learn, I can say, hey, can you go take this training on how to be better as customer support? I'll give you another example. Like I also have a house flipping business, and I have my project manager now, Claudia. She's been with me for 6 or 7 years, maybe longer. She lives in California. We flip houses in Indiana. I hired her as a personal assistant in the beginning. Super, super hardworking person, always showed up on time, always willing to, hey, Sharad, what else can I do? What else can I do? And then I started giving her more responsibilities, and she started running. You just kept running with it. And that's what I look for in people as, are they willing to learn? Are they willing to work hard? Do they have the right work ethics? And that's, if they have that, skill can be trained for, but not the work ethics. So that's what we look for anytime we hire anybody in customer support or any administrative job. Is just making sure that they have the right work ethics.
Is she still your personal assistant, or have you had to hire
No,
refill that?
oh, she's grown way beyond that
Yeah.
position. Yeah, I mean,
Yeah.
she's project manager. She manages my business. She gets percentage of the profit just by, she didn't have any of the skill. All She was a highly motivated person, super organized, and just she wanted to learn, she wanted to work hard. And I just kept giving her more opportunities, more opportunities. And with that came, higher income potential. And then she just kept running with it.
Yeah, love that. It's been hard for me when I have a really good assistant to I like to let them move on because it's it's such a valuable role to me to be a really good, my right hand, right? And so,
Absolutely.
but that's so crucial when they're that skilled and that motivated to let them thrive, right, and give them that opportunity. Love that. You spoke to hiring for character. I could not agree with you more over skills. And how do you? What's a way that maybe you judge character to some degree when you're going through the hiring process?
Yeah, I mean, that's a tough one. I mean, that's when you have to use a little bit of your gut, how a person shows up to the interview. I wish there was some questions we can ask and say, hey, and then we can expect them to give honest answer. Hey, how hardworking are you on a scale of 1 to 10? Will you show up on time every day? I mean, on interview, the person that shows up, it's going to be a different person, but you know, you can tell for the most part. Like, I'll give you an example. Like the head of our customer support, like Ted, he just moved to Colorado. He was in Las Vegas. So we interviewed few candidates, and after the interview, he sent us like a 5-page long email with a 30-day, 60-day, 90-day plan. We didn't ask for it. He took the time to spend it, to send that to us. Like, he was like really committed, and it just felt like the right thing to do. Um, Nobody else did it, like, a lot of the candidates don't even send a thank you email, and that's a big no-no for us, right? Another team member that we have, Shanae, She's our head of our affiliate management. She's based in California. So again, same thing. We interviewed her. She showed up highly motivated. She had done a lot of research on the company. That's another thing you look for is if the position that they interview, have they already done a research, or they're just showing up and asking you questions that they should already know answers to based on the job application or the job advertisement that we had. If they're asking, hey, what do you guys do? I'm like, come on, you didn't even like have time to go research on our company. What do we do? So Shanae showed up to the interview knowing everything about the company, and her start date was, so we hired her, and then a week or two before the start date, she started emailing, hey, can I set up a couple of meetings with you? Because when I want to come in, I want to have some of the administrative like work already taken care of. I want to know, I just want to come in day one, just be starting. Like that, nothing makes you happier than knowing that you have someone who's committed to being successful as much as you want them to be, and they're like more committed to being successful than you're hoping them to be. So like even the head of our marketing, he's from Bangladesh. He has been with me since pretty much early days, like since 2018, or I hired him as like just to help me with some VA task at like $3 or $4 an hour. He's making a lot more money than that, but absolutely worth it. Absolutely worth it. Like it's something that I give him anything, he never says no. I give him, he's like, okay, we'll get it done. We'll get it done. Same thing on the head of our tech team, like Sandeep. He's been with me for since the beginning. Like just I was working a couple of different teams with the development teams in the beginning. And Sandeep, I would give anything. I would say, hey, can you, even if he didn't know, he's like, yeah, I'll take care of it. I'll take care of it. He'll figure out, if he didn't know an answer, he'll figure out where to find an answer and get that done. Same thing on our CS team. You give our team something, they'll come up with ideas on like, hey, how can we improve this? And they challenge me. And that's one thing I tell my team is, hey, challenge me on something. If don't do it just because I'm asking you to do it, just push back and say it doesn't make sense, or we can do this in a better way like this. So that makes a huge difference. Like just knowing, and I'm giving you a very long answer, but just knowing that if someone challenges you, and they have some reasons to challenge you, and you give them something, and they're like, okay, yeah, I'll get it done. Even if they don't know the answer, they just say, I'll take care of it. And then showing up on the interview, they've done their research. Um, Before they show up on the interview, they're asking you the right question, and you just seem very engaged in the interview, like they really want the job. And after you're done the interview, if you get a thank you email from them, I think those are the things that goes a long way.
Yeah, no, I love that. I love the tips there, and it seems like small things sometimes that that shows those things, right? But it's a big
Absolutely.
deal. Yeah, it seems small, but they're not. Like just like you talk about, a simple thing is following up, saying thank you, being proactive, and doing research about the company. I love that as well. When they have good questions, right? Not
When they have
questions
good
that
question.
were like on the homepage of the website.
Yeah,
you know,
exactly. Or if their first question is, hey, how much am I gonna get paid? You're like, really? Like that's the question you want to ask. How much do you want to get paid?
right?
And it just turns you off. Those things you look for, and then make some of those decisions based on the gut. Hopefully you'll make the right decision every time, but that's not going to be possible. Like we've had to let go of some people that like checked every box, but then like, okay, how they showed up wasn't right. So, then we go in and then have the conversation and then just let them go.
Yeah, I appreciate you mentioning that too. They're not all going to work out, but you
But
gotta
they're not.
you
Yeah,
gotta try it before you even learn how to do this process, right?
absolutely. And then keep tweaking it, right? It's not going to be 100, it's going to be an ever-changing process for you. Like every day or every time you make a mistake, figure out what did I do wrong? Make sure you don't make the same mistake again. And then next time you'll make a different mistake, hopefully then you learn from it, then you improve on it, and then just keep doing that.
Speak to the technology you use to manage the team or communicate or anything like that.
Yeah, so we use Slack to communicate with our team, and then on our team in Philippines, we have them use Hubstaff, which is like a time tracker. And we've told our team it's not to see how efficient you are. It's only for us to know that we have the right, or we have enough team members. For example, if I have a team member who's working 8 hours and he's working at like 70, 80% efficiency. That's not sustainable. Typically, you would see like 40, 50, 60% efficiency, which means they're like actively working on tasks. There's going to be times they're not actively working. So if you notice like someone 70, 80% consistently being like really efficient, then you need to have a conversation. Hey, I think you're being overworked. Let's just either make sure you're not doing the things that are you're not necessary to do, or if you're doing things only that are necessary, let's find someone else who may be at 30, 40% efficiency to take some of the things off your plate. So yeah, we use Hubstaff for that, but Slack for our communication. And then we use ClickUp just to kind of, I'm a big believer in checklists. So if there's something that I need to do, just we tell her, hey, create a task for me so I don't forget. And then every week we go through our to-do list. Did we get this done or not? If not, why not? Then those are things that means this way everybody is accountable. There's no going back and forth on, oh, I thought you said this. Oh, I thought you said, oh, I wasn't sure you said it. Then we have a checklist for that.
Is there a platform you prefer to find virtual assistants like that? I mean, like, obviously, I mean, I've used Upwork and onlinejobs.ph and even a few others, but those are probably the two I've used the most.
Yeah, I mean, I would say lately when we hired people, we found hired people from Online Jobs PH. And then some of the things that you want to do is like, let's say if you're hiring someone for an admin position, right? I mean, it's a detail-oriented position. So what we do is at the end of the very last line of the job application, we'll say, if you're interested, reply back and put awesome in the subject line, or like some random thing that they must have gone to the end of the job application to read it. If they don't, like, we just automatically disqualify them. Like if they didn't even like go read the entire job application and they just say click apply, not. But onlinejobs.ph is the one that we've used recently. But ideally, in a perfect world, we would like to hire people from referral. If I know someone who's been a fantastic team member with us for years and they refer someone, definitely. I mean, it's almost like a shoe in for that person. Like we just have to make sure, do our due diligence on that. But referrals would be the one I would say if we can, it's not scalable. Not, every team member would have people available at the right time. But if we know we're going to have need for someone in next 60, 90 days or 6 months, then we want to start kind of reaching out to team members and letting them know, hey, we're going to be needing to hire additional team members. Just let us know if you know anyone in your network. But ideally, yeah, ideally that. But if not, Online Jobs PH is the next one.
All right, Sharad. Well, a few final questions in this segment. I'd love to hear your thoughts, especially with all the data and things that you collect. But just everybody wants to know, right? Everybody knows you don't have a crystal ball, but what do you expect to happen, just in the real estate market or the economy over the next 6, 12, 18 months?
Oh my God. I have no idea. I have honestly no idea, man. It just, I hope the interest rate will come down. That's all I'll say. But do I expect them to come down? No, I've been wrong way too many times. I'm not a very smart person. I'm good at like adjusting to kind of what things are happening, but I'm not good at kind of anticipating, if that makes sense, I don't know. Lately I've also been reading a lot about stoicism. So it just talks about, worry about things that are in your control. So things happening with real estate market, it's not in my control. The only thing that is in my control, how I'd react to those things. I hope the interest rate will come down, you know, but if they do, fantastic. If they don't, fantastic, you know.
I think you're a humble guy. You're obviously very intelligent.
I don't know. I mean, I like to follow process. I like to kind of stay in my lane. But I like when COVID happened, I thought the real estate market was gonna go this way. It went that way. So I'm like, you know what? I'm not good at these things. So I should not even, make any decision based on that. It's more, yes, like I like to make decisions based on the data that we already have on how we should react to it. So I
Yeah.
I hope the interest rate will come down. That's what I'll say.
What's the biggest challenge you're facing in your business right now?
The biggest challenge that I'm facing is like we have team members based in 4 different countries, different native language, different culture, like how to unify everything, like how to bring everyone together, even though like each like pods that we have or like CST, marketing, development, individually, fantastic. But like as a company, how to get everyone like, build a culture around that, that's a challenge that I'm trying to figure out how to like get around that.
Yeah. It is, I've experienced that as well. We had about a dozen full-time people in the Philippines at one point. And it's different cultures altogether, right? That you're trying to
Right.
build culture in as a company, and it's difficult, but important,
Absolutely.
for
It's
sure.
important. Yeah. So I don't think it's ever going to be like if we had everyone in US or everyone in one country would be different, but we have, team members in US, Philippines, Bangladesh, India, and now like everyone to like just be part of the same culture. That's a bit of a challenge. And working different time zones, different hours, that doesn't help either.
Yeah. What are some of the most important metrics that you track? It could be personally, or professionally.
Uh, Personally, like I'm a big believer of tracking things that are in my control. For example, if I want to lose weight, I don't want to track on a daily basis how much I weigh. I want to track, you know, like did I eat healthy or not? Did I go to the gym or not? So that's like on a personal level, I do Wim Hof breathing exercise. I don't know if you're familiar with it, but it's basically like some breathing exercise. So that's something I like to do every single day. And then meditation personally, like if I meditated every day, did I journal every day? Those are the things that I like to track. And then I have a specific app on my phone that tracks that for me. So it's not just a gut feeling, oh yeah, I did that. I think I did like every day. No, it's did I do it or did I not? That's on a personal level. On a business level, it's for me the most important, like if I'm looking at business, like marketing side of it, it's the ROI. So that's the most important one for every dollar that we're putting in marketing. How much money are we getting back? And then on the CS side, how happy our customers are. Yeah, those are the important metrics we like to track.
What's the, number one thing you would say has contributed to your success?
I think it's just staying in my lane and like knowing kind of what I'm good at and what I'm not good at, which are a lot of things. And rather than trying to improve on the things that I'm not good at, uh, okay, and I'd rather double down on the things that I'm good at and just focus on one thing and be better at it than anybody else. And then for other things that you need to be good at, just hire somebody else that's going to be way better than at that than you could have ever been.
How do you like to give back?
I do a lot of coaching or mentorship, not paid, but just like if anybody has any questions, I'm more than happy to jump on a call with them anytime they have a question. I think that's the most rewarding thing is when you can help someone else, who's starting out or who wants to be kind of, where you are or even beyond that, just kind of guide them. I think that helps a lot. And then for me, my biggest motivation with the company that we're scaling is the team members that we have. I have other businesses that, I have cash flow from, but just the people that we have in our company to be able to eventually, let's say exit the company and give them a, part of the money that we have, and knowing kind of, you know, um, people in especially Philippines, India, and Bangladesh, I mean, it would be like life-changing money for them. That's my biggest motivation.
Love that, and I appreciate you sharing that. I wish we could all incorporate that into our business, right? And care for our people in that way. I love that, even caring for, the team members in other countries like that, because like you said, it is definitely life changing for them, and we hope it's life changing even for the ones in the U.S. as well.
Oh,
But
absolutely.
Shred, pleasure to meet you and to have you on the show. Grateful for your time, the way you've given back to us, and even diving into building a scalable business and really scaling, even with many team members from all over the world. From the importance of culture to the way you communicate to hiring for character over skills. I mean, so many great tips that anybody that's looking to scale better keep in mind. That's for sure. Shred, tell the listeners again how they can get in touch with you and learn more about you.
Sure. Yeah. So they can get in touch with me through email, sharad at resimpli.com. So SHARAD at resimpli.com. And if they want to learn a little bit more about Resimpli, they can go to resimpli.com.
Thank you for being with us again today. I hope that you have learned a lot from the show. Don't forget to like and subscribe. I hope you're telling your friends about the Real Estate Syndication Show and how they can also build wealth in real estate. You can also go to lifebridgecapital.com and start investing today.